Yo, what up, Cougs?
Ayo, Cougs!
Hey guys, we're back here with another daily dose of Royal. And from our left to our right, we got
Declan,
Ethan,
Soli.
and Wyatt.
And we're going to get straight into our hot topics, straight into our daily dose of BYU news. So first up, Declan, hit us off, man.
Yeah, so yesterday BYU picked up two big recruits in the linebacker position. We got a 4-star and a 3-star. We got Braxton Lindsay from Rogers, Arkansas.
Yes.
Huge pickup. Our defense is probably one of the defenses in the nation, as we saw last year with
Shout out Jay Hill.
Jay Hill. He is a mastermind. Honestly, if we ever go to World War III, I want the Air Force to pick him up just put him as our air defense specialist. He's got a special mind for defense.
No fly zone.
No fly zone. We led the nation in picks.
Yep.
We tied Texas with 22.
Yep.
Texas played, I think, 3 more games with us because of the college football. So technically, we won.
We did.
Per game picks. We won.
Sure.
So we got Braxton Lindsay, and then when we got also Nehemiah Colone from Stillwater, Oklahoma. So 2 picks that we kind of stole from our Oklahoma State. Obviously, we stole the game from them last year.
Yeah. Darius Lassiter.
And I think if you asked me 6 years ago, we would never be able to poach these picks from Oklahoma State, much less Arkansas, Missouri, all these SEC schools that were also looking at these 2 guys.
Yeah.
This guy, Braxton Lindsay, the 4-star, he's from SEC country. He's in Arkansas. Those guys don't leave SEC country. Like if you are a 4-star, you stay in SEC country. You go to your local school. BYU's on the up.
They are. And you have to wonder what they're doing, Justin Young and his recruiting crew. If you've ever, obviously we're biased because we are BYU fans. We've gone to BYU games. But seriously, if you ever come to BYU, there's so many things that make BYU and the culture so big. We take this for granted. You look outside this window, it's so beautiful. The campus is super pretty. You go and you play a night game at Lavelle Edwards, it's a whole different atmosphere. It's so fun, which that's another thing I wanted to touch on. Is their entertainment, I don't know, has just been absolutely phenomenal.
The drones
that
they did
drones.
against
Drone
Oklahoma
show.
State,
Yeah.
that
was crazy.
I remember being in the student section last year, and just all of a sudden you just hear this kind of like soft whirring sound, and then you kind of look over to the side, and all of a sudden you just see this like blue. I think it was just the stretch Y, the stretch oval Y was the first logo to appear, and I was like, this is amazing. And then they started doing all the different designs on both ends, and then they had the picture of Jake Retzlaff throwing the football.
That was
like,
super sick. It's been really cool, honestly. I feel like they've really invested a lot. And I think, honestly, with the Big 12, it's given us so many more benefits. Growing up, we were always in the independent, and it was really cool. We played a lot of cool teams. We played Notre Dame a couple of years, played UT. We played a lot of really good schools. But I think we're just really seeing right now, especially over the last 2 years, just the benefits the Big 12 has to offer. I don't think we would have ever imagined, any of us, that we would beat, like you were saying, a player, recruit that wanted to go to the SEC, wanted to go to Arkansas, Georgia, Alabama. These are some of the biggest schools in the world, and BYU is now competing and even still in some of the prospects, which I think just shows, the capacity that BYU has and the potential people see it. And just the benefits the Big 12 has.
Yeah, absolutely. And, independence was great for us. It was a way for us to manage things on our own, figure things out. But now having the backing of the resources and whatever rev share from the Big 12, I don't think we can ever really go back. Mountain West was great to us. All love for them. But going from Mountain West to Independent to now the Big 12, could you imagine if we had a schedule like we did last year, winning and all that, but we were independent? There was no way we would have gotten into the or had a chance, I should say, into a championship game or a playoff game. It just would not have been considered. And the fact that now it's kind of you got to be with a conference or you lose. And so Notre Dame apart, huge respect for Notre Dame. They definitely have their own unique case, but for us,
They had Rudy. So
Oh, that movie's so good. It's a classic.
shout out
Rudiger.
Sean Astin.
Yep.
But yeah, so just being part of the Big 12, love being part of the Big 12, and yeah, it's just honestly great. It's a great thing for BYU.
Yeah. Yesterday we were excited to be a part of the Big 12, and today we are still excited to be a part
Still
of the Big
super
12.
excited.
We are happy.
We are
Um,
happy.
I think it's one of those things I pray for every day. Like, thank you for letting us be in the Big 12, for the $20.5 million that the Big 12 is now giving us starting July 1st for the
It's
year. So,
nice.
Oh man.
I mean, it's just as a Cougar fan, like this is the era you want to be
Yeah.
a part. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
Lavelle's era,
Still awesome.
amazing era.
Yeah.
Like he created, he was like the stepping stone that let us win the championship that got us to where we are now. But this is kind of the time, you know, like this
Yeah.
is going to be a time where years down the road, like this is the time we're going to be looking at and saying that's where it all started.
Yeah.
That's where BYU became a powerhouse in the nation.
Yeah.
And obviously, as all BYU fans, Cougar fans, we're going to always be supporting that. We're going to be excited for them no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think everyone else is starting to take note.
Yep.
Hey, something special is brewing in Provo
No.
Yeah.
ever since NIL really started.
Yep. Yep. And I think that's one big proponent is because BYU outputs such great businessmen and businesswomen that the support we have on a financial stage is just it was only a matter of time before recruiting through NIL came to pass, and once it did, you saw firsthand how well BYU can compete in that space and really dominate in that space.
And I think it also helps once you land a big recruit, right? Like AJ or Ryder Lyons or something like that. It just, everyone wants to flock to that. Everyone wants to be around that.
Yeah.
So it's been really helpful that we landed some big recruits, and then the supporting cast will come always.
Yep.
Well, I think it's exciting when you're, because obviously, while they are athletes, they're still students at the school. They want, obviously, like we saw a lot of the players would go to the basketball games. We saw a lot of the basketball players would like going to the football games. So they want to go and support the other big sport. You know, they want to attend those games. And BYU is providing that. This year, obviously, we were ranked 4th in recruiting. Obviously, AJ was a huge part of that, being the #1 player, being a
Okay.
5-star, and then gaining several other players that this past year. Both teams are really, really thriving right now, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be going away anytime soon. Just kind of like we said, with the financial backing, with all the support that BYU has.
And now the name recognition, I think that also helps.
Yeah.
It also helps that a lot of these new recruits are excited and they're recruiting as well. I think one of the biggest recruiters that we see who's not even attending school here yet, they haven't even graduated, is Brock Harris.
Yeah.
That guy.
Oh, if you
is-
follow him on Twitter,
Twitter is active about just like, dude, BYU fans show like when
Show
it
the
was
love.
like the night before Ryder announced. Brock was like, Cougar fans, you got to show up and just show the same love that you showed me. Show it to Ryder. Like, let's get him on this team.
Well,
Yeah.
and I love that because we used to be, BYU was the quiet school. We were the humble school. We were independent. We weren't going to make a ton of noise. We'd go get the 2 and 3 stars from Orem, Utah, and then we'd just build them up and then create them into great players. But it took time. It wasn't we go get the best, they're starters day one. We would go get them. Junior year, they'd probably start getting some starts. But now we're going out, and especially with Ryder Lyons, he could be a starter first year.
Yeah.
He's got that talent. Obviously, we'll see just with him coming off a mission. We talked about that yesterday, how he'll be prepared, how prepared he'll be. But I think those days are over. So
Yep. And let's go through this real quick because we have a pretty big list of heavy hitters. Brock Harris, obviously, big time tight end. Ryder Lyons needs no introduction. The guy's a beast. Bot Mulitalo had a little flip there.
Okay, dude, do you remember when we got that call? So, for you guys, since you guys weren't here, one of the board members of the Royal Blue called me up and is like, I need you to make jerseys, T-shirts, hoodies, everything. We gotta like convince Bot to come to BYU. And so I don't know. It was probably like a box, like I don't know, worth like $400, $500 worth of like merchandise and stuff. And I made a like Bot jersey, with the number 0 because that's what he wears in high school. Put Mulitalo on the back, and I'm like, I hope this works because he's already committed to Oregon. And then what was it, like a week later, roughly? He decommitted from Oregon, and then with the little extra time, then he committed to BYU. So I at least touched some of, obviously we didn't like talk to him and tell him to come, but like we
you guys were
helped
involved,
do
yeah.
that. We were
So
involved with that.
You were the guy. Why?
Well, isn't he
I was
like-
not the guy.
Isn't he like the fourth guy we've now stolen from Oregon? That
Yeah.
have like
Yeah.
decommitted and
That's
swapped.
the next guy, Alai Kalani Valu. Guy's a beast.
Yep.
He was playing at Bishop Gorman. He's a O lineman. Dude's a beast. Anyways, highly sought after, highly recruited. BYU, we got him. He's going to be serving a full-time mission,
That's
and
what's
then
up.
he'll come back and play. That's the same as McKay Madsen, who doesn't get talked about enough.
Oh,
I
we
think
need to talk about
obviously
him. Dude,
because he's going
I
on a
thought
mission.
he was already a part of the team, like practicing when we went to the
Yeah.
alumni game. Because I'm old. I'm 27, but like this kid just looks like he's already in the NFL. Like
Yeah.
just he's only in high school, but like he does look a lot younger. But like the way he's built, the way he carries himself, McKay Madsen, like huge shout out to you, man, dude. Like
Yeah, he's
Well,
a beast.
a few weeks ago,
gosh.
he won a state championship
Yeah.
in track. I can't remember which
Oh,
event.
for
it was.
shot put.
Shot
probably?
put.
Yeah.
dude,
that-
he cleared everything. It was ridiculous. I saw that video. I was just like, yeah, that ball's gone.
Yeah. Wasn't he the All-American MVP as well? For
Yep.
that
Yes, he was.
game? That guy
He's
he's-
probably going to be a starter day one as well. If
Oh,
he's
I agree.
because he is
looks
a big dude.
Yeah, he looks like a stockier version of Christian McCaffrey.
Oh wow.
If
Yeah,
like Christian
yeah.
McCaffrey and Frank Gore combined, that's who you have.
He
You
took
have
his strength and
Into
Well,
a white
like,
kid
yeah.
from California.
And,
Yeah.
Well, and BYU's saying that they're going to let him play both sides of the ball too.
Yep.
So
crazy.
Yep.
Sorry, Travis Hunter, you're not the only one.
Yeah. No, seriously. I mean, we got a lot of big guys. Braxton Lindsay, obviously for sure. We talked about him. Matthew Mason, legend Glasker. We got his older brother Isaiah's playing here now. Kawe Akana just committed. He's from Orem. Dude is a beast. Anyways, we got a lot of people, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Word of advice for all you guys that are going to be serving missions: follow the football training regimen. Do your exercises. We
It
need
will
you
pay
guys in
off.
shape
Yeah.
when you get back.
The minute you get back, we gotta get on it. So it's gonna be exciting. These next 4 years of BYU football is going to be exciting. Speaking of BYU football, we have a change in the quarterback room.
Okay, guys.
So- We gotta talk about this.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. So, okay, you said yesterday that you are a team bear. You want bear attacks. Ethan, who do you want?
I'm Team McKay.
Your team McKay, and then so that leaves you with Trayson. Are you okay
Yes.
defending Trayson?
Yeah, we've done some work with Trayson. I've met him. I think just personality wise, he's a stand up guy. He's really lighthearted too. And I also just saw that he was what's it called? He was at Big 12 Media Day.
Oh, he
Yes.
was?
So
he was.
Okay.
he was there.
He wasn't formally announced, at least on the post that BYU
Yeah.
football posted, but like
So
he appeared. Yes.
Yeah. So him, I know Parker Kingston is there. Isaiah Glasker's there along with Keanu Tanuvasa. And so I think I don't know. I think there's just I'm Team Trayson. Funny guy, a good guy, modeled for us the legend shirt, and I think his film looks pretty good. All of their film looks
I
good.
feel like
And he
that's
played.
hard.
Was it Western Michigan?
Western
so he's
Michigan
got
Broncos, yep.
experience
they
in
both have
Yep.
experience.
FBS.
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years. So, I mean, obviously I'm Team Bear, but if Trayson gets the nod, he's got the experience. He's had the time behind Jake last year. Also working behind Bohannon as well last year. So
Yep.
if he gets the nod, I'm not worried. And as much as I love Bear and I would want Bear to start, I don't think he's going to get the start, unfortunately. He is
Yeah.
young.
Yeah, he's very
And just
young.
coming out of high school, it's hard just getting thrown right into BYU. He doesn't know the scheme as well.
Yeah.
Where Trayson knows the scheme.
Trayson and McKay too.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
They've
McKay's
known
been
the
there for a
scheme
little
for
bit,
2
too.
years.
2 years now because
Yeah.
he was
So-
at Utah State. Didn't
Utah
play
State
much.
Didn't
Yeah.
play a whole bunch. Then got redshirted. Hasn't really played that much at BYU. So you never know if the redshirting, like, they could either really love him or just like I don't know what to do with them. So it's hard to say. I feel like it is between McKay and Trayson.
Gotcha. But the benefit of a redshirting is you get that year off
yeah, so
to
you-
study, to learn, work out, and all that stuff. But here's my question for you, Declan. All feelings aside, why would you start Bear over these guys?
I think Bear's the future.
You think he's the
I don't.
future?
I think he's the for sure starting next year, 2026 starter. I think he's going to shine. There's a reason that
With a new young crew.
with a new
Yeah,
young
that's
crew, with
true.
his brother at Whiteout.
Mm-hmm.
His brother's a
There's-
junior or a senior?
a redshirt
just- I
believe
junior.
he's
Redshirt
redshirt
junior.
junior.
Redshirt junior. So I think he would have 2 more years if he
Okay,
wanted to
yeah.
stay. So with those two, obviously they are both committed to Stanford. I think being together is important to both of them. I think it's important. Why? Because he was getting recruited by he got an offer from Alabama
saw
and
that.
Notre Dame. I also think Auburn offered to him. He had, I think, like 20 plus recruits.
Yeah.
He could have picked any of those. And like we were
Seriously.
saying with the SEC, we just picked another one. Obviously, he picked Stanford first. They lost their coach who got fired, which then
Probably helped us.
it helped
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
because
helped
he
us,
was like,
yeah.
okay, the guy that I wanted to be with is now gone. Who's my number 2?
It was
BYU
us,
was the number
yeah.
2, which
It's always nice.
Quarterback factory. Yeah.
exactly. And so the stat that I just find remarkable is his 4 years. He didn't play his freshman year, but he had 60 touchdowns, 14 interceptions.
In all 3 years.
Golly.
All 3 years they
All
played.
3 years, only 14 interceptions.
That's the type of ball knowledge that I want to see.
Holy
He's also a
cow.
mobile quarterback.
he's
He's a
pretty
runner.
Yep.
That's my concern, I think, with Trayson. He's not mobile. And that, like, with Retzlaff, he wasn't, like, a Taysom Hill. Like, he wasn't sprinting down the field. He wasn't.
He has good vision.
He
Jake
had-
had really good
he had
vision.
really
He was
good
aware
vision.
when he was in trouble and
Exactly.
could run out of it.
And that's why
That's true.
That's why it's like we need someone that's mobile, that if the pocket collapses, which happens, we're playing against Big 12 defenses. They are going to come through. I want someone that can be able to escape, that has that option of I'm quick, I can make it life dangerous.
Yeah.
And like with Avery Johnson, I think Avery Johnson is going to be probably one of the top quarterbacks this year
yeah, for
at
sure.
Kansas
that
State.
team's gonna
Yep.
be so good. They really-
Because
Yeah.
obviously we shut him down last year, and a lot of that was due to the fans. Like
he couldn't hear anything.
yeah,
I
post game
love
they
that.
couldn't
I was
hear
there.
anything.
Oh, it was
And,
so loud.
like they
It
swapped
was
out
so
their
awesome.
comm system at halftime, and
Yep.
like they still couldn't hear anything. Having that in those scenarios where I think we're going to Texas Tech this year, like in those loud stadiums where, hey, if I need to scramble, I can get out of here. I can move.
Yeah.
That's why I love Bear, is because he's that big dude. He can make it downfield. And then with McKay, he's also mobile, but I think he's like 5'10",
Yeah, I was looking at that.
5'11".
He is pretty short.
He's pretty short.
Yeah.
So
He's a quicker
Same with
guy, but
Trayson.
he's
Trayson's
shorter.
also pretty short too.
They're
Yeah,
both
but he's
kinda
still
short.
over the 6 foot.
I think he's like
mark.
6'1" or something.
Yeah,
6 foot.
It's
Maybe.
probably the same height as me.
yeah, but isn't I
6'1".
think
Still
Bear's
fairly
like
short.
Or
for-
6'2".
6'2".
But he's a lot
so
bigger. He's filled out.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
well,
Well, so Ethan, for McKay, I know you're kind of like feeling like you're in the middle, but like, why would you pick McKay over the other
I
two?
think this is the thing. Like Bear's definitely long term. I think.
Yeah.
Declan's
Yeah.
like that. Like if you want long term, he's going to be the quarterback before Ryder Lions come. He's going to be the guy. But he's just so young. I think honestly it will hurt a lot this season. A new quarterback, new scheme, and everything. And honestly, he just barely got here during the summer, so he has probably no reps at all with the team or anything. To do that and instantly try to compete in the Big 12 would be very, very challenging. I think McKay
Fair.
is a more experienced quarterback. He's more mobile. He fits the scheme of BYU. And honestly, from what I understood from the spring games, he was kind of like the backup, was kind of second favorite and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it does make sense logically he will be the starter.
Yeah.
But we'll see, of
absolutely.
course, fall. We'll see what happens. But I think right now he is kind of like the favorite as of spring. But we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, and then Trayson, he seems to be like the social favorite because when he posted his photo shoot pictures, Parker Kingston and Chase Roberts both reposted that, and
Yeah.
like he posted the picture of them all, hugging and showing off the Ys. But yeah, I'm going to play the devil's advocate for a moment. Jake Retzlaff still has not transferred. Obviously, there's a lot of like legal things involved with revolving with the NCAA, and like technically the portal's closed, but like a whole there's all these rules. But let's just say he does not transfer, and I know he wants to play, but let's just say it does not work out, or he just chooses to stay. He sits out those 7 games, and then he comes back and finishes out the season. We would probably be on some sort of quarterback rotation, I would assume, between McKay and Trayson, whoever's kind of like working within the game. Our first 2 games against Portland State and ECU will be,
Blowouts.
well, depending on how things are going, it might.
I mean, our
it-
defense.
I hope they are blowouts.
No way they're scoring, man. It's gonna be 0.
Okay, I hope they are blowouts, but this would be those 2 games would be the perfect time to figure out, okay,
Yeah.
who's getting into that flow, who's working well, and then hopefully, let's just say again, if Jake stays, he could be, quote unquote quarterback coach. He could be,
be
doing call signing and all that kind of stuff, and then helping out, and then hopefully, staying in shape, staying strong, he can just come back.
The thing is,
If he
would
stays,
he-
if he would come
Yeah.
back and
Here's
just
my
finish
question.
up
Though.
that season.
Let's say he does stay.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say he says, you know what, I made a mistake. I'm going to take my 7-game suspension. Right.
Yeah,
Game 7 is against Utah, so he misses the Utah game,
which is unfortunate.
which is unfortunate.
but
yeah.
it's here in Provo, so
We're chilling.
We're a bit louder, yeah. So
Yeah.
we've got the better fan base. We've got the louder fan base for
We have the
sure,
better
and the
team.
bigger stadiums,
better looking fan base, like just everything better.
We're just better.
Everything better.
Just
everything. Let's say BYU, we go 7-0, right? We beat Utah. We just demolish them.
Run all over them.
Jake Retzlaff's now off suspension. Who's ever the starting QB, are you then putting Jake Retzlaff back into the game?
That's the thing. The momentum
hard.
and everything.
Or
There's
or
momentum.
because we're 7-0, do you then keep whoever
Yeah,
we're
keep-
starting,
keep
whichever the
going,
3
yeah.
goes? Or if it's a kind of a rotation where, hey, we can use these McKay and Bear because they can run.
Yeah.
Let's kind of trick them to think, hey, now they've got a more mobile quarterback out there. Bourgette's now off. What
Or
are
they-
they going to do?
Or they put in Jake Ritzlaff the next game and then he
Who
loses
is-
it.
who is
and
game
they're-
eight?
they'll be like, okay, he should have just not have ever.
Who is
you know,
game 8
stayed.
against?
Game 8 is, I believe, Iowa State. Yep.
Yeah, you also have
That's
to.
a-
At
that could
Iowa
be-
State.
That could be a
At
big game.
Iowa
too.
State.
It's
That's a big
hard.
game.
It's
And that's a
hard.
hard stadium to go
You
play
al-
at.
yeah,
They-
you also have to consider how this will affect not just game wise, but locker room wise.
Locker room dynamic is going to be.
If you have like
Yeah.
trust that's been built up with
Yes.
quarterbacks, and then all of a sudden you have obviously
through the
all respect to
season.
Jake, but who hasn't played at all the season, on suspension comes in, and well, how does that look on coaches if they're like, hey, let's get Jake back in.
It-
When
And the hard part is because he's like in the top 15 in the pre-Heisman, like predicting like the
Oh,
bets,
that's-
like the
yeah.
top 10, 15 or whatever for betting for Heisman.
yeah,
Obviously, that's now he's dropped off since the news
Yeah, of
broke. But
Yeah.
I mean, he's still the same caliber of player.
yeah, exactly.
I
So
think-
it's hard to be able to say, hey, he was a Heisman possibility. Not saying he was going to win it, but that's kind of hard to be like, yeah, we had this guy that was going to have a standout senior year, his last year before he goes. Now we're going to someone else to back up. And if he's
hard.
available, it's hard to then for Kalani to then say, oh, who do I go with to finish out the season?
Yeah.
I think it'll depend a lot on how the season goes, right? There's a lot of big games you have to play before him. And honestly, how the quarterback plays. Maybe they're killing it, and I think hopefully the quarterbacks do kill it, and, Jake kills it somewhere else, and we're totally fine. But if he ends up staying and we end up having not the best season, then we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
But I think it's a
No.
big decision.
I agree. One thing I think we also have to remember is our line is 50% of the equation for pass game and run game.
is true.
And our line returning, we got Bruce Mitchell in the middle. He had lots of reps after Connor Pay went down. Waylon Lapuaho is coming back. Sonny Makasini is coming back. Isaiah Jada's coming back. A lot of big guys who know the scheme, know how to protect their quarterback. I mean, it's going to be a good year on the front end. And so we don't have too much time left. We'll get back into some other stuff tomorrow. And so with that said, and we're going to close this one out, guys. It was a good talk. We'll see what happens with BYU. But in the meantime, thanks for joining Daily Dose of Royal from right to left. We got
Wyatt.
Soli.
Ethan.
And Declan.
We'll see you guys next time.